Good morning, everyone, and welcome to Unity of the Valley. It's my pleasure to welcome you to join in on this opening song, which is new to you. If you could all rise for a moment, and I'll try to teach you the key words to the song, which are just 3 words. The words are, I am opening. And the melody to that part goes, I am opening. Want to give that a try? I am opening. That's it. All right. Well, if you just sing that part along with me. I am opening for the love to flow. Again, I am opening to become a glow. I am opening. Yes, I know I am here to bring the light. I am opening for the love to flow. I am opening to become a glow. I am opening. Yes, I know I am here to bring the light. One more. I am opening, now feel it, for the love to flow. I am opening to become a glow. I am opening. Yes, I know I am here to bring the light. I am here to bring the light. I am here to bring the light. Welcome. Thank you.
Thank you so much, John. What a beautiful way to begin our service today. Do you feel that openness in our minds and our hearts? And in that state, we pray with gratitude. Gratitude for this opening, gratitude for this time of connection, gratitude for the abundant good we know in our lives today, individually and in community. Grateful for this time of celebrating the truth and letting the blessings flow. Grateful. Amen.
Good morning, everyone, and welcome to Unity of the Valley Spiritual Center here in sunny Vacaville, California. I'm glad to see everybody braved, leaving the comfort of your home to come out, be baptized by the sky, and join us in the comfort of our spiritual home. We welcome each and every one of you this Sunday, and we'd like to get our Sunday service off and running by inviting one of our young people forward to light the Christ candle. And this morning it's going to be Bree, who's going to come forward and light the Christ candle with me. Maybe. She's looking at me and not moving. Come on up, Bree. And this is really such a special time in our service. Do you know why we invite a young person up to light the Christ candle? You don't know why. Well, I'm going to tell you why. We light the Christ candle with a young person present because you personify the Christ light that exists in each and every one of us. But for some of us who have less hair or maybe gray hair, sometimes we forget that we still possess that light just like you do. You don't have to forget and you don't have to remember because we can just look at you and it shines through you, doesn't it, everybody? So Bree, to honor you this morning, we're going to give you your own special blessing. The words are up on the board and we're going to say it together. So Bree, you are a beautiful child of God. Perfect in every way. You are loved unconditionally just the way you are. Didn't that feel good? All right, so now we're going to say it to ourselves. I am a beautiful child of God, perfect in every way. I am loved unconditionally, just the way I am. And now what I'm going to ask you to do is, there's other young people here. So I want you to do this to get them to come up onto the platform. Like this. You're not doing this. You got to do this or it doesn't work. Oh, I guess it does work. Okay. And then we're going to sing to all the young people, and John's going to lead us, so please join us.
This little light of mine, I'm gonna let it shine. This little light of mine, I'm gonna let it shine. This little light of mine, I'm gonna let it shine. Let it shine, let it shine, let it shine. Everywhere I go, I'm gonna let it shine. Everywhere I go, I'm gonna let it shine. Everywhere I go, I'm gonna let it shine. Let it shine, let it shine, let it shine. Shining all around the world, I'm gonna let it shine. Shining all around the world, I'm gonna let it shine. Shining all around the world, I'm gonna let it shine. Let it shine, let it shine, let it shine. Let it shine, let it shine, let it shine. Let it shine, let it shine, let it shine.
Thank you. You guys have a good morning. We'll see you in a little bit. Well, welcome again to each and every one of you. We really are happy to see you here, and we want to see you after the service in our social hall where we have some light refreshments. And if you're joining us for the first time, we'd like you to stay and ask as many questions from anybody you see. If they can't answer your questions for you, they can find somebody who will. And that brings me to our guest speaker. She might be able to answer some of your questions. Her name is Reverend Margie Brach. Many of you know her because she's here pretty often now, and we welcome that whenever she's here. So welcome, Margie Brach. And to my right is Mr. John Shin. Our guest musician today is doing a fabulous job, I might add. And as many of our musicians have as their bio, it simply says, John's been performing music for like decades and decades and decades, and he continues to do so for us, and we hope to see you again in the future. We hope this isn't just a one-stop for you. It's not going to be a one-stop for you. We're going to drag you back with our cane, so welcome. And if you're joining us from the comfort of your own home, we can't see you, but we can feel your presence with us and know that you're loved and welcome anytime, and we hope to see you soon. Our chaplains are here each and every week, or this week I should say chaplain is with you. His name is Warren, and he's got this beautiful white stole that he's wearing. Our chaplains are specifically trained to pray with you. If you've got something weighing heavy on your heart or you have a celebration you'd like to share, our chaplains are here to do that with you in confidence, so please make good use of them. We have a number of announcements this morning. The first one is Friday, June 9th to June 11th. There is a retreat called the Gathering of Wise Women. Here at Unity, do we really have to say wise women? Isn't that kind of a redundancy in terms? So, of course, they're wise women, and our wise women are meeting at this wonderful retreat in Santa Cruz. And if you plan on going, you need to go to the office today because a $50 deposit is required, and you can get more information from that from Marcy, who's sitting in the back, and maybe will be in the office after the service. Okay. And then save the date each and every year. We have a tea. Last year it wasn't a spring tea. I think it was a fall tea. But the spring tea is back Saturday, May 6th. If you're not familiar with this, it's really quite a stunning event. People come from all over the community, from outside our spiritual community. Typically it sells out. And the great thing about it is that all the men of Unity will serve you the whole time, and you can treat them as nicely or as horribly as you want, and we'll still have a smile and still serve you with joy. So keep that on your calendar. Tickets will be on sale soon. And then this week, join the Women of Unity, the Wise Women of Unity, on March 23rd from 11:30 to 1:30 as they celebrate the oncoming of the spring season, right? So we've got spring showers, soon to be flowers, and so please join them in the social hall, which is right across the way here, this Thursday, the 23rd at 11:30. There's going to be great food, I think. It's going to be food? Wise Women of Unity? It's going to be food. Always a good reason to show up. We have many volunteer opportunities available here at Unity of the Valley Spiritual Center, but I've been asked to specifically do a shout out. For those of you that may not know, we sponsor it's called the Fourth Friday Feed at the Episcopal Church here in town. And what that entails is on Friday nights, the Episcopal Church hosts a all-welcome dinner for those who may be food challenged, even if you're not food challenged. But we host that, which means we need somebody to volunteer to coordinate that, to prep the food so that it can be served. Did I do that okay?
Yes.
Yeah. Most of us, if you've been around for a while, most of us are familiar with that, but we're doing a special shout out for volunteers for that. And so if you've got some time on a Friday, the fourth Friday of each month, we'd really like to see you step up for that. So having said that, let's join together. There's a wonderful slide. We see clouds departing and sun rays coming through those clouds. So we're going to bring that into our awareness for our springtime here in Vacaville. And we want to join together with our statement of faith. Together, there is only one presence and one power in the universe and in my life, God the good. And now sit back and enjoy John Shin.
What I bring to you today is from a wonderful songwriter by the name of Kate Wolf. I think many of you would have heard of Kate, and maybe particularly this song, which I think is a good message for all of us. Kind friends all gathered round, something I would say, that what brings us together here has blessed us all today. Love has built a circle that holds us all inside, where strangers are as family and loneliness can't hide. So give yourself to love. Love is what you're after. Open up your heart to the tears and laughter and give yourself to love. Give yourself to love. I've walked these mountains in the rain, learned to love the wind, woke up with the sunrise just to watch the day begin. I always knew I'd find love, didn't quite know how, but like sunshine on a cloudy day, you stand before me now. So give yourself to love. Love is what you're after. Open up your heart to the tears and laughter and give yourself to love. Give yourself to love. Love is born of fire. It's planted like a seed. Love can't give you everything, but it gives you all you need. Love comes when you're ready. It comes when you're afraid. It will be your greatest teacher, the best friend you have made. So give yourself to love. Love is what you're after. Open up your heart to the tears and laughter and give yourself to love. Give yourself to love. Just give yourself to love. Give yourself to love.
Wasn't that wonderful? Let's celebrate John again. It's one of my favorite songs from my earliest times in Unity. It just fills my heart to hear it again today. Thank you. Here we are. I'm so happy. You know, it's a special, special time, and that we braved the rain. We came out so we could have our experience together today. And I know what a special time of year it is, too. You know, when we look at the religious calendar, that Palm Sunday and Easter are just ahead. And there's something that seems to happen inside, moving through this season, whether I'm consciously aware of it or not. And I found some real blessings in the work of Lowell Fillmore, the firstborn of Charles and Myrtle Fillmore, our co-founders. I know I've mentioned his writings recently here, and they continue to feed my soul. And specifically the book that he wrote that is called The Prayer Way to Health, Wealth, and Happiness. And there's one particular segment in chapter 1 that he calls, I Go to Meet My Good. And I know he wrote it from his own experience, because he was a small boy when his mother had her healing experience, when his father began to experiment with these ideas, and when they made their commitment of all their time and their resources and their energy to share what they had learned. And he was a shy little guy, but he found himself pulled into service, where he was having to interact with people. He was actively participating in this work of the earliest part of Unity. He was a young man when all of a sudden he was the manager of the office. That meant he had to talk to people. That meant he had nervousness about talking to people. And in this part of this chapter, he speaks specifically of that kind of situation. That kind of situation where we're interacting with people and we feel a little nervous about it ahead of time. Am I the only one here who's experienced this? I mean, it is something that comes up. It's part of our humanity. You know, and he points out, he says, most of our waking hours are spent interacting with people. Some of them are more friendly and helpful than others. Do we agree? Yes, and the way we enter into those situations makes a huge difference with our life experience. And he points out that it is not so much how other people treat us, but it's how we treat other people that really makes a difference in our experience of life. And he says that if all of us would practice the spiritual law of treating others as we want to be treated, there'd be less need for human-made laws. And we would all truly go to meet our good. And you know, this comes right out of our Christian scriptures. When we look at the Gospel of Matthew and we see the stories of Jesus traveling and speaking and teaching, healing, and he notices the people following him, large crowds of people. And he goes up to a high place and he starts to teach those things that we know today as the Sermon on the Mount. And one of the things that he says, in everything, do to others as you would have them do to you, for this is the law. The golden rule. I know I grew up with the golden rule. Am I alone? No, it's been a part of our consciousness for a long time. And many people consider it to be just a Christian teaching. But there are many others who consider it to be something that's brought forward throughout the world's faith traditions, and who consider it as an ethical teaching and a way that we can get along better in the world. I'm very grateful for my time at Unity Village. You know, I got to go there back when the ministerial studies program was, you go there for 2 years and you march through your classes together with a group of classmates. And there were a lot of happy times there. But as a part of that experience, I also got regularly challenged about things that I thought were the gospel. And it was good for me, but it was sometimes awkward. And one of the things that I sort of knew, but I didn't really fully comprehend, was brought to my attention by one of my classmates. And it was in the form of a series of books, a number of volumes called How to Be a Perfect Stranger. Catchy title. And what each of those volumes had was they had a description of different cultures and faith traditions from around the world, and how to have good manners in those places. Because some of the things that in our culture we might think of as the best possible way to show up could be interpreted very differently, and in fact be really offensive. And this classmate pointed out that those volumes were based on something called the Platinum Rule. I didn't know what the Platinum Rule was, but I soon learned that the Platinum Rule is to treat others as they want to be treated. Since I was in school, I've had some experiences. I've had experiences where someone wanted to help me, and the thing they did, thinking it would help me, was not helpful at all. Anyone else? You ever had this? I've had experiences with people who love me and care about me, who want to show me their love, and they've showed me love in the way that made sense to them, even if they were disregarding what I said would help me to feel love. They were practicing the golden rule every single time. And what I needed in those moments was the Platinum Rule. There's a woman who lives here in Northern California who really showed me how to put this into practice. Her name's Terry. She lives in a small rural community in Northern California, and she's a woman who had a good life in many ways, but she also had hardships. She has. And one of those was that her firstborn passed on. And Terry has gotten to enjoy all the blessings of raising her grandchild, but also the hardships that go along with that. And yet, you know, even with the difficulties that came with that kind of loss, she could also see people around her in her community who were struggling a lot more, struggling a lot more than she was. And she knew she needed to do something. And in that, she realized something simple that she could begin to do. She could cook extra food when she was cooking meals at home. She could take it out to people who didn't have a home. And she could start making a positive difference. And she did this for some years, and she in fact started a not-for-profit business because people wanted to make donations. They wanted to support this thing that she was doing. And then in 2018, the campfire blew through her community. And she knew in a completely different way what it was like to not have a home. She and her spouse, her grandchild, their dog, and one employee got out safely, and everything else was gone. But she happened to have a lot more resources and support in her life than many others in the community. It took 2 months, but they were back. They were rebuilding, and they started doing their work again. But one of the things she learned from that experience is that if you don't have a kitchen, some of the things you get at the food bank are not very helpful. And she realized what was needed was something she started calling a kitchen-free box. And in that box, for one person, there was enough for one day. 3 meals, snacks, water. No kitchen needed. She started collaborating with the Solano Food Bank. And now they stock trailers full of kitchen-free boxes that when there is a need, right now, they're able to go and meet that need. Practicing the platinum rule. Giving people what they need and what they want is doing a little bit more to move us all in the direction of our good. And we can do this in so many settings. We can do it at home in our kitchen. We can do this in work. And I saw a wonderful example of how this is being done in a work setting. A woman named Samantha had received a blessing of her dream job. She had been studying and working and doing all these things to start doing organizational development work. And she was hired by a mining company in South Dakota called Pete Leon and Sons. And it was her and a whole lot of men because they were miners. You know, they were drilling and blasting and loading shot rock, and that's what they did. And there were a lot of discontented people there. That's why they hired her. And there was a lot of difficulty because she'd bring ideas and it wasn't working, and she was bumping up against the people she was working with there. And she was finding the same thing was happening at home with her spouse. And then she came across something that had been available. Now it's been 3 decades. The book, The 5 Love Languages. How many of you know this book? Well, she read the book. She took the assessment, and she found out that the way that she most easily feels love is when people do things to be helpful. They do acts of service. And she just felt like the whole world opened up to her. She came to her husband and said, "You've got to do this. You've got to take this assessment." And he thought it was a Cosmo quiz. He did not want to do it. And she understood, but she just kept urging him, and he did. And he found out, and they found out together, that the most important love language for him was having quality time together. And things shifted. They learned how to show each other they care in a language that each other could understand. She was so excited about this, she explored everything she could around this assessment, and she soon found out that one of the authors of the book had modified it for use in a corporate setting, called The Languages of Appreciation. And she immediately took it to work. Well, you know, this was not a group that were really interested in exploring their emotions. They were wearing their hard hats, and they were doing heavy work. And bless you. And they were rolling their eyes, and they just had all kinds of feelings about it. But she was persistent. And the leadership took the assessments, and the employees did the assessments. So that in addition to wearing those hard hats to protect their craniums, they also all got a sticker on the side that showed if they preferred gifts or affirmative words and praise or quality time or acts of service. And the supervisors started paying attention to what was there so they could show their appreciation to employees, because there had been a lot of unhappy employees. And they would have an open door or let a person have extra paid time off if that person needed quality time. If that person needed acts of service, they would help out and get hands-on when it was necessary, or collaborate to do figuring out of problems. If the person liked gifts, well, there was always free coffee or free lunch or snacks. And if what the person needed was affirmative words, a thank you card, or praising that person in front of the whole group, totally changed the culture of that place, so much so that the employees started doing the same thing for each other. And we all know what's been going on in the last 3 years. And we know that a paycheck has not always been enough to keep an employee on the job. But Pete Leon and Sons is thriving and growing and is more harmonious and successful than they ever thought they could be, with their employee retention rate and much more. When we can practice this platinum rule, treating others as they want to be treated, we really can go to meet our good together. And you know, this is not something that's just limited to certain age groups or certain circumstances. A woman named Lori learned for herself how this was true. Her work is to be in a management role with a senior residential home in Southern California. And she met the residents when they were having to let go of their independence, when they couldn't do all those things for themselves anymore, and they just didn't have the support at home that they needed. And, you know, a lot of them coming in, they lost their sense of purpose in life, even if it was keeping the house in order. And having everything done for you may seem nice, but not always, especially when you lose connections with neighbors and people you care about. But she did her best, you know, to bring that light into the facility and organize, you know, different functions and activities. And she also needed things to lift herself up outside of work. And she started volunteering with the SPCA to be a foster mom for brand new litters of little tiny kittens. And she loved it, but she also found herself rather tired because they require feeding every 3 hours. But the whole idea is to socialize those kittens so they can have forever homes. She'd have them for a couple of weeks, and then she'd get a new batch. And she realized one day to keep up with this, she was going to have to bring them to work. Now, she had her own office, and so she got a little playpen and she put it in there and so she could feed them every 3 hours. Well, it wasn't long before the residents heard those little kitty voices. And they were not interested in watching TV. They did not want to do exercise classes or art classes. They wanted to play with the kittens. And she just was really concerned. What about cat allergies, all this? And they were persistent. And she let a few of the residents in. And they got a new purpose too. Because in petting those kittens and helping those kittens to learn how to be with people, they helped secure those forever homes. She opened it to the whole facility, and one day a week puts the kittens in a stroller and takes them into the memory care. Everybody gets to be a part of the kitten party. You know, we don't always fully know another person's experience. But when they let us know how they want to be treated, we can give them that gift. We can let other people know how we want to be treated. We can find a new harmony. We can find greater blessings. We can go beyond the ethical ideas of the Golden Rule. And through the Platinum Rule, we can go to meet our good together. I'm so grateful we're making this journey together. And I know that the blessings can only flow. Bless you, friends.
All is well now, all is well, all is well now, all is well, all is well now, all is well. Within me, all is well, all is well now, all is well, all is well now, all is well. All is well now, all is well, deep within me, all is well, deep within me, all is well.
And we come to this time of meditation knowing that all is truly well in our minds, in our hearts. And the spirit that moves in and through each and every one of us. All is truly well. And I invite you to close your eyes if you wish, or If you wish to keep your eyes open, let your gaze be soft. Let it be soft, seeing with the eyes of God. With this soft gaze, seeing the beauty, seeing the goodness, seeing the blessings, and opening the way for even more. And I do invite you to notice any sensations in your body as we rest in this time. If there's any area that feels tense, any twinges of discomfort, or any sense of gentleness, even as we give our attention, we let that part of our body feel our soft and gentle gaze. Feel the touch of a healing, relaxing, restorative presence, enlivening, enlightening, and gently releasing any concern that may have been carried there. For anything that has caused any sense of anxiousness, we place it now, oh so gently, on the altar of our hearts, and offer it up for gentle purification and empowerment. And as we give this attention, we release any inner locks that we have had in our bodies, and we rest, fully supported in this time of reflection. With every breath, we relax more deeply. So much that we feel the very beating of our heart. We feel the life of God coursing through us. And we know that we are one. One in the Spirit. One. And so we rest in this knowing, in the silence. And we are grateful. Grateful for this place in our consciousness, this place to which we may return at any time. And we are grateful for knowing, always knowing what is ours to do, who we are to be, how we are to show the appreciation and the love that we have, and be a part of the greater harmony of our world. Here, in our families, in this community, in the larger community, and on this planet. And together from this state of consciousness, we know that wherever we have been, it has brought us here. Wherever we may go, that God makes clear our path, for we are the beloved, in whom God is well pleased. We say, thank you, God. Thank you, God. Thank you, God. Amen.
All is well now. All is well. All is well now. All is well. All is well now. All is well. Deep within me, all is well.
Well, thank you, Reverend Margie Brach and John Shin. And now our ushers are coming forward, and it's that time of the service where we put into place our own platinum rule, which is we'd like to give a wonderful environment for a loving, nourishing spiritual community. But in the way that you can help the spiritual community is through your time. If you've got volunteer hours in your month that you would like to fill, through your treasure, whatever talents you have that may be of good use to our spiritual community, and also through your treasure, through our collective treasure. That's what helps us do this each and every Sunday to bless each and every one who comes through our doors. And we have so many ways in which you can give. You can just text the word give to this number and donate. You can go to our website and just click on that big donate button and give as you feel moved. Or you can take something in your hand and give it a blessing, whether it's cash, check, even a love note to the church. We'll take that as well. And so with that, take it in your mind or your hand, and please bless whatever it is yours to give this Sunday with the following words. Together, God's love through me blesses and multiplies all that I am and have, all that I give and receive. I am grateful.
I am so blessed, I am so blessed, I am so grateful for all that I have. I am so blessed, I am so blessed, I am so grateful, I am so blessed. Please join me if you know this. I am so blessed, I am so blessed, I am so grateful for all that I have. I am so blessed, I am so blessed, I am so grateful, I am so blessed. I am so blessed, I am so blessed, I am so grateful for all that I have. I am so blessed, I am so blessed, I am so grateful, I am so blessed, I am so grateful, I am so blessed.
Well, that song almost makes this following affirmation unnecessary. Oops, I'm so sorry. I'm almost tempted to make you sing it again. I won't make us sing it again. Yeah. But it almost makes this affirmation unnecessary because that song just personifies what this is trying to get across to each and every one of us. But together, let's state the affirmation of divine substance. The inexhaustible resource of spirit is equal to every demand. There's no reality in lack. Abundance is here and now manifest. And now, if you would stand, and we've started to redo our old, for those of you who have been around a long time, we used to have this old tradition where we joined in a circle around the sanctuary. And we're going to do that again, and John Shin is going to lead us in the peace song as soon as we're in our places. So don't run. But do migrate.
I think we're going to make it all the way around the room, Paul.
Yep. Okay.
Let there be peace on earth, and let it begin with me. Let there be peace on earth, a peace that was meant to be, with God as creator. We are family. Let us walk with each other in perfect harmony. Let peace begin with me. Let this be the moment now. With every step I take, let this be my solemn vow. To take each moment and live each moment in peace eternally. Let there be peace on earth, and let it begin with me.
The light of God surrounds us. The love of God enfolds us. The power of God protects us. And the presence of God watches over us. Wherever we are, God is. We are one holy family. We celebrate our oneness and honor our diversity.
And for our closing affirmation today, I'll state it once and then you can join me. I am grateful. I am going to meet my good. Together, I am grateful. I'm going to meet my good. And so it is.
Kind friends all gathered round. There's something I would say. What brings us together here has blessed us all today. Love has built a circle that holds us all inside. Strangers are as family, and loneliness can't hide. So give yourself to love. Love is what you're after. Open up your heart.